Brawls. All right, Glacial is picking Brawls first. So we'll get to this replay in a little bit after we get into the Brawls. But I do have a window open for us to talk about Brawls here. Here it is.
Hey, Zath.
Well, hello. How you doing, Potato?
Doing good. What about you?
I'm fine, thank you. All right. So let's take a look at our setup here. Now, I haven't actually read the article, so I'm going to read this kind of with you guys. It's 3 versus 3 tier 7 ships. Interesting. 7 at... Oh my god, Weimar is going to be a really good pick for this. I was just thinking about that. So, Brawls are a separate type with short season, smaller team format. Yeah. Okay, players match with their skill level, right? Division, yes. You don't need to be a member of a clan. That's a big one for you guys to note. And what I typically find in Brawls is if you've got a couple of friends that you like to play with, then you can pop them together and you can just go to town. Now, what's cool about Brawls is that if you win in Brawls, you get, I think it's still 2,500 base XP. So you can grind through tier 7 ships. Is it 1250? Okay, thanks SAT. Hey, see you later, Happy Fodder. Regardless, the matches themselves are like 10 minutes or less. So that 1250 base XP adds up really quickly. So Brawls are a really good opportunity to grind up your tier 7 containers.
Oh yeah, totally. If you ask me, like, I can complete grinding out the New Orleans in Clan Brawls.
Yeah, why not, right?
Yeah, can't wait for the Baltimore, honestly.
Now, if you guys haven't done this yet, make sure you go to the this page and claim your tokens. You have to log in and all that good stuff. There's rewards that you can get here. Personally, I don't care about any of these. As a newer player, 2.25 million credits is really nice, and the Elite Commander XP is quite nice too. Signals are okay, and Cole, hey, if Wargaming is giving you stuff, then they're giving it to you. But to me, I think that the real joy in this is, one, the fun that you have with friends in a game mode that you don't normally play, and two is the ability to just speed grind your tier 7 ships, in this case. Alright, so this is from July 19th. Oh, it starts tomorrow! I said that pretty loud, my wife probably heard that. It starts tomorrow and goes through for a week. Yeah, the Elite Commander XP is also really good for newer players too, SAT. Yes, that's true. So 3 versus 3. You can have no more than one ship type of each team. Okay. Now, some people are asking me for suggestions on ship picks, so I'm actually going to have to exit out, or I can't exit out. I'm going to have to quit the game, force close it. And I'm going to have to start up the client again. Because some people were asking me for recommendations for ships that'll be really good at tier 7. So let me load up the game here, and we'll pop that out. No carriers involved, it's tier 7, so you can't play carriers anyways. So you have to have one battleship, one cruiser, and one destroyer. Now you look at the maps, you've got some pretty small maps here, right? You've got Big Race, and you can see it's designed to just get you to get in close. Generally speaking, when I look at this map, I like to come in to the south because I can foil both caps by just kind of sitting right here on either side. So that's an option. Shatter, if I'm in a destroyer, I don't like to go straight up this way. I like to come around the side and come in from the side there. Cruisers could go in the mid. It depends on the cruiser and the battleship player. Sometimes I also like to take the destroyer around this way, but I find it's a lot quicker just to go straight in here. Northern Waters. This one is tough because a lot of players like to just go straight right to here, but I find it's really important to you can either go in this way, or if you're going to go straight, you can go straight and then just try to stop yourself right about here. You can do that. Loop. Probably come left and then up into the double cap position would be my thought there. Crash Zone Alpha, I love this map. This map is so fun to play. You control people so bad with destroyers. Come in, stop right about here. You got good angles. You can spot for your team, stuff like that. The important thing here is you need one team member to prevent the enemy from rushing around the corner, and you need another to prevent the enemy from coming through the center. So that's very important there. Two Brothers Epicenter, the meme. Take a tier 7 destroyer and just rush through. Because why not? Let's see. Is my game up and running? It is. Let's unclick that for a second and let's talk about tier 7 ships that can work. Swear to God, these Muppets. Hello, how are you today? Right now we're talking about Clan Brawl, the upcoming Clan Brawl. Alright, let's talk about tier 7. Let's start with the big and the bad battleships. What's a good pick for tier 7 battleship? Florida, I think, actually is a pretty fun pick. She's got the guns, she's got the maneuverability, which I think is really important in a 3 versus 3 setup. She'll be very fun in Clan Brawl. So I think Florida will be good. California, pass. Gneisenau, always a good pick. And this is a tech tree ship that you can grind up quite quickly. So I think Gneisenau is a really good pick. Scharnhorst, of course, basically the same thing as the Gneisenau, just the guns don't pen as much, but arguably more fun because her turrets traverse quicker. Scharnhorst B, obviously same thing. Yukon. I mean, it soaks up the damage. Is that important in 3 versus 3? Maybe, but it just doesn't... I don't feel like it's got the blap that you need in a battleship in 3 versus 3. So I would probably skip on the Yukon. Strasbourg is actually a good pick if you want to go someplace and stop and hold the battle and just kind of reverse. Besides that, I don't know that it has a lot else going for it. Hyuga isn't a bad pick. Hyuga's got the main battery reload booster. It's got plenty of guns. It's got that gorgeous lacquer camo. Jeez. So she's not a bad pick. Yeah, Scharnhorst doesn't overmatch, so that's the one thing going against her. But she's got the speed to get around flanks and stuff like that, potentially. The Nelson. I really don't like the Nelson. Never have, never will. I wouldn't pick Nelson. The problem with Nelson is her armor layout. She just eats damage for days. Nom damage. So I wouldn't pick Nelson. Sinop, it has OP in its name, so it's got to be good, right? Sinop is nice. Point your gun, your bow at your enemy, bounce all the things, and reply with guns that overmatch, if I remember correctly, because they are 406s, aren't they? Yep. Cracciolo. I never liked her. She's got sap. She's fast. But she doesn't have the smoke. She can't make inky like you can when you get to tier 8. Nagato. Don't worry, Nagato, Mr. Nagato. Not a bad ship. I don't know. Punchy guns. 410mm. Overmatch. Yay. Ashitaka, though, might be a better pick. Simply because she's faster. She's got more guns to her as well. Yeah, Brawl's favorite close range, right. And speed. And that's the problem, I think, with Nagato. What's the speed on this one? 31. Yeah, I mean, Nagato's 27. So, or 25 even. Sorry. So, I mean, yeah. Right. So, I think Ashitaka could work, actually. But that being said, if you're doing Brawls and you're doing it to grind tech tree ships, Ashitaka's not a good pick for that. Colorado. No. I just talked about speed, and you've got the slowest ship in the game. Oh, that's where Kappa went. I was wondering where Commander Kappa went. Poltava. Poltava, actually, I think wouldn't be too bad. She loses the overmatch compared to the Sinop, but she does have gun reload. So I think she'd be okay. Not the greatest. Okay. King George. The problem with King George is you typically want to burn down battleships. That just takes way too long in a brawl format. So, I don't know. You could do it. Hood. fast. It's got better pen now because of a buff to its penetration capability or what have you, but it's a hood, so Duke of Yuck. The one redeeming thing that the Duke of Yuck has for her is she's got a hydroacoustic search, which is very handy for charging into smoked destroyers, smoked cruisers, spotting torpedoes, all that good stuff. And Leon. Leon would be, I think, a fantastic pick, simply because she's got 16 of these 406mm guns. Or no, they're 340s, I'm sorry. Still, she can definitely spam out the hurt. I think she'd be a lot of fun. Oh, Potato Smasher, good point. Yes, you also have the improved AP that comes with that. Shotgun, says Gary. Yes, the French shotgun. Anybody have any questions on the battleships at this point? Yeah, Duke of York still cries against battleships. That's true.
Zath, actually, if I may make a point really quickly, I feel like the Gneisenau would actually be a better pick than the Scharnhorst simply due to the overmatch. Because at this tier, you have battleships with 26mm plating, which the Scharnhorst can't overmatch. So if you're going to go into a straight-up fight, you'd want that overmatch capacity just to deliver that extra bit of punch.
Now, what?
Also,
what you're talking?
Argue that. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, you're talking about overmatch, and I just want to make sure everybody understands what you're talking about. So, what you do to figure out overmatch is you take the size of the guns. That's 380. You divide that by 14.3. That's 26.5 millimeters of armor. So any battleship that has 26 and lower armor can be overmatched, which means Gneisenau overmatches herself. In other words, a shell will hit, and it doesn't matter what angle, it will penetrate. Okay? Which can cause damage, can hit citadels, etc., etc. Alright, go ahead, Potato. What were you going to say?
Right. I'd also argue that Gneisenau just has the better secondary battery as well, because yes, you have the 150s and the 105s on the Scharnhorst, but the Gneisenau gets the 128mm guns, which can penetrate 32mm of armor. And if you're going to run into something like a Sinop, you can actually pen some parts of the Sinop, I believe. I'm not entirely sure.
Yep, I'm flipping through right now and showing you guys each of the different bow armors. And that's why I get Gneisenau. So, yeah, you can pen some parts, just the upper part. It's got a icebreaker bow, so you have to aim a little high for the Sinop.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If you're going to go up against a Sinop, you'd honestly rather be in a Gneisenau because you can just punch straight through the Sinop's nose. Whereas with the Scharnhorst, you'd have to get around to the side and then citadel it.
Right. Now, you also have a small strip here because the Caracciolo actually has a pretty big icebreaker bow too, which is interesting.
I'd honestly say that the Caracciolo has the best icebreaker out of all the Tier 7 battleships simply because it's so large.
Oh, yeah, I could see. Definitely. Poltava also has an icebreaker bow, but it's got a larger area that's easier to hit compared to the Sinop. So you guys can see, as I'm going through here, so the ability to have 380mm guns and above might very well be, a deciding factor. Oh, Leon actually has an icebreaker bow too. Huh, that's interesting.
Leon's troll armor might actually do some work, just because you can shatter and bounce so much high explosive and armor piercing.
Right. Alright, well, let's move on to cruisers, because I don't want to make this too long. So cruiser picks. Weimar, I think, will be ridiculous, because Weimar struggles in random battles when there's plenty of targets that can focus it down and kill it. In this, there's only 3 opponents. It only has to worry about angling against 1 battleship, potentially 1 cruiser. It's got the Hydro, it's got the DPM. I think she'll be an absolute beast. So Weimar's a good pick. Atlanta's a good pick as well. Hey, Zipet. Atlanta's a great pick simply because it's got the radar, it's got the spam ability. It's actually very thin, so against 1 battleship up close, it can show its side like that and just get overpenned for days, so that's kind of fun. She does have 4.5-kilometer torpedoes that a lot of people forget about. So, yeah, Atlanta's a decent pick. Boise might be a better pick simply because she actually has a heal. It's not just, I believe it's a super heal, isn't it? can't remember off the top of my head. It is a super heal. Thank you, SAT. So the Boise is a good pick. It's also got 152mm guns. They pen a little bit more than the Atlantas, and it's got 5 turrets, which is quite nice. Flint. I want to say Flint's a good pick. The problem with Flint is that in this game mode particularly, there's a huge emphasis on speed, on getting in, getting the kill, and making a decisive play. The Atlanta can do that with its radar, radaring out the destroyer and hopefully killing it. The Flint with its smoke is more of a long-term sustain ship, which just doesn't work as well in Clan Brawl. Remember I told you most of these battles are like 10 minutes or less. Sometimes you could go the full 20 minutes, but most of the time it's going to be 10 minutes or less. So I just don't see Flint being that help for that. Yes, Fiji would be a better pick than Flint, yes. Lazo. For the same reason I just explained Flint, no. God, no. Lazo, long-range spammer, no. Belfast, do I even need to tell you guys why Belfast is going to be ridiculous in Clan Brawl? I didn't think so. Ashigara and the other Japanese clone ships of the Miyoko class are going to be okay. They're going to be fine. 203mm guns, punch through armor. It's got really good HE characteristics. It's got the 10km torpedoes. It's got hydro. I would say it's a really good pick. And it's a tech tree ship as well if you're grinding up the actual Miyoko itself. So that's a good pick. We talked about Fiji being a good pick as well. Yes, absolutely. It did recently get nerfed, but it's still going to be a strong pick. It's got smoke. It's got hydro. It's got pretty good DPM with its AP. Just choose up anything that's broadside and destroyers. Indianapolis is, in my opinion, one of the most fun Tier 7 heavy cruisers out there in a tier locked situation. Not so good in randoms because you can see Tier 9, but we're only going to see other Tier 7s, and in a 3v3, I think Indianapolis is a great, fantastic pick. The 203mm guns with the enhanced American piercing shells are fantastic. It has 10km radar. I'll repeat that, 10km radar. So you can lock down almost all of these maps by pressing your button. So I think that's quite nice. Yes, that's true. Miyoko doesn't have the greatest of firing angles. You have to get her into a kiting away position. So you have to get her so that she is essentially looking at the target like this, firing over her shoulder to make the most out of her guns. That is true. But I still think she'd be a good pick. New Orleans. Well, you saw what she did in Narai earlier. New Orleans, good pick. You know, really good shells, all that good stuff. I think she's a solid choice. Her armor is okay. The one thing about her, though, is she's got this big blocky thing back here that just sucks up all the damage. Helena. Another good pick. If you don't have a Boise, Helena for the DPM and the Blap. Not a bad pick at all. So if you're grinding up a line, Helena's a great line to grind up in this mode. Shores is also a good possibility for the same reason as Helena. You've got the DPM, and you get the added torpedoes as well. Oh, Orleans got buffed? Let's take a look. She's got 25mm armor. So she gets overmatched by anything that can pen 26, so the 380s. But yeah, 356 and smaller she'll bounce. That's actually kind of interesting. So if you go up against a Leon, for example, in New Orleans, and the Leon is firing AP at you, you can bounce most of that. That's kind of nice. York. York's a nice pick as well. She also has that 25mm bow. Very comfortable ship. The only problem is she just doesn't have as many guns. She's great for YOLOs with the hydro and the torpedo capabilities, so that's kind of nice. Yeah, she is slow. Munchen. If you have a Weimar or a Munchen, I would pick the Weimar over the Munchen. That being said, Munchen's still okay. But I don't know. I feel like she's more of a random battle farmer than this kind of mode. She does, of course, have the torpedoes and all that kind of stuff to go in and do things. Algerie. Another good pick. It's a tier 6 tech tree ship, so you can use that. Why take York and you can take Weimar, right, Vader Sama? So I would say the Algeria is a good pick as a tech tree ship. Speedy, it's got the main battery reload booster, it's got torpedoes. Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty good. And the guns are 203mm guns, so these are heavy cruiser guns. It's very handy.
Zaksop is now following.
Zaxop, thank you very much for the follow. Appreciate it. I'm not sure what the giveaway is right now, but I'm sure Sith Kitten can put it. It's a sub camo. Zara, not a bad pick. It's got the ability to make smoky, inky, and smoke away. It's got nice 203mm guns with SAP. I think this will be a good pick for anti-destroyer work. Abruzzi. She's got a heal. That's all I have to say about her. Zara doesn't do much against battleships, that is true. Gorizia, please don't take a Gorizia. Gorizia is like a Zara, but no smoke, but it's got reload booster instead, if I remember right. No. It does have smoke, okay. I don't know why you'd want to take a Gorizia when you could take a Zara. I don't know. Yeah, it has hydro instead of torpedoes. I'd rather have the torpedoes. If it's Gorizia versus Battleship, then just AFK, right? And then we get to Nueve de Julio, which is essentially a Boise, but because it's not American, the chances are that you're going to have a lower point commander because it's a Pan-American ship. So that, I mean, if you want to grind a Pan-American commander in this, Nueve de Julio is a good option. Alright, anything I missed, guys, on the cruisers? Why you're getting...
Zath.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Zath. I feel like all the cruisers with, like, all the utility tools, like, oh wait, Ensign said Surrey. We missed that one.
I missed it. Surrey is a great pick. Ridiculous troll armor. It's very hard to citadel this thing for some odd reason. And I mean, she'll be a fine ship. She doesn't have a heal. No, she does have a heal. So that comes in handy. I think she'll be okay.
Yeah, actually, honestly, I think the problem is that most of these cruisers have like 16mm bow plating, so they just get overmatched by battleships so easily.
Of course.
Whereas you take a look at something like a New Orleans and a York, honestly, I feel like those would be better, just because they have the ability to bounce those 356s.
Yeah, somebody mentioned Indianapolis as well. Well, nope, she
Yeah.
also has 16s up in the front.
Yeah, that's the main problem with Indianapolis. She only has 16mm bow armor, which means she just gets overmatched. She does have the 25mm side plating, but
yeah,
it's not that much of a... Yeah. Oh, yeah, SATs, right. They don't have any sustain.
Right. That's the only problem with those ships. So, yes, you can tank the damage, but you can't heal any of it back. That's one of the problems. But, yeah, I mean... It's Brawls, guys. It's 3 versus 3. I mean, it's a mode to have fun. So I wouldn't... Personally, I wouldn't think too hard on this. Like I said, grind up a tech tree line, grind up Commander XP, grind up free XP, whichever of those 3 you're trying to do and accomplish. And then pick the ship that you think will be the best suited based off of that. Toshkin says 25mm, not much better. 380 plus is still going to ignore it. That's right. So 26 is really important. Let's talk about destroyers next. Now, in destroyers, there's a few solid options and there's a few kind of, I don't know so much options. Leningrad, I think, is a pretty solid option. She's pretty quick. She's got really nice torpedoes. She's got a good mix of concealment, speed, all that good stuff. Her guns are... They're okay guns, but the turrets are pretty slow to turn, so there is that to consider. Z39, I saw some people mentioning earlier, would be a fantastic pick. The thing about the Z39 is it's got a really good hit point pool, and it's got these 150mm guns. Really good against cruisers. So that's kind of nice there. Yeah, the 130s are good threats to cruisers, Vader. That's true. In my opinion, the Haida is the most broken ship in the game at tier 7. Why? Because of her concealment. When you have the full concealment build, you go down to 5.4? I want to say 5.4 kilometer. I can't remember. Is it 5.7? Okay. Sorry, 5.7. But in any case, I mean, yeah, like SAT says, she's basically a tier 8 ship at tier 7. Regardless of the specific number, she has the best concealment in this game at tier 7. So you have to keep that in mind. I mean, she can go and get places that other destroyers can't. She's got the creeping smoke. She's got all the other stuff going for her. Honestly, she would be my top pick, I think, for destroyers. And the 39 is also a tier 8 at 7. Yes, that's true. Sims. What's there to not like about the Sims? American smoke. Good, consistent guns. Torpedoes are okay. They're like sea mines. She's got extremely good maneuverability. 2.7 second rudder shift is just ridiculous. That being said, she doesn't do too well in Brawls simply because I don't see her winning 1v1 fights against a lot of other destroyers. It all comes down to who's gonna win that gunfight, who's the better gunner. It's got a better hidden base XP modifier for farming free XP, but if I remember right, Brawls, it's just everybody gets 1250. Everybody gets the same base XP when they finish, correct? It's been a while since I've done Brawls, but if that's the case, then that modifier doesn't matter in Brawls. In Ranked, it matters. So, you know, that's one factor, one reason why Sims isn't as good, maybe. He's still an okay ship. Vaquelin. Speedy French ship. Go in front of people, torpedo him in the face. You've got your reload booster. You've got your 139 guns. She'll be a fine pick. Bullying destroyers is how you did so well in Ranked in Sims. If you know how to play a destroyer, you can do fine. Shiratsuyu. Shiratsuyu. Two choices: smoke or torpedo reload booster. In Brawl, I would 100% go torpedo reload booster. You're trying to get the blap damage with a lot of torpedoes. You're going to flood an area. Smoke, I just don't think it's going to be as useful because chances are we're going to be teamed up against a cruiser that's bringing radar, because how good radar is in this kind of a mode. Z31, if you're grinding the ship, go for it. Why not? Much like the Z39, she's got the 150mm guns. Torpedoes are okay. Concealment's okay. She's got smoke. Grind, baby, grind. Akatsuki! I hate it. I hate this ship. I've always hated this ship. I've just never been able to make her work for me. But, you know, if you're good with her, fine. She's very dependent on her torpedoes. The guns are okay in a gunfight. But, yeah, exactly. You bait others into shooting her and then smoke and whatever. Oh, the poi boat. Yudachi's torpedoes are 15 kilometers. I thought it was... Hold on a second. Am I missing... Am I thinking of the other one? I'm thinking of the other one, the tier 8. That has 8-kilometer torps. But Yudachi also has the torpedo reload booster, like the Shiratsuyu. The thing is that these torpedoes reach farther, so they're 15-kilometer. They're good for air denial, but if you look at the maps that I showed you guys, 15 kilometers is overkill. You're never going to need 15-kilometer range in this mode. So I just don't think... Ready. I see that. Thank you. I don't think Yudachi is a good pick for this mode. Mayhan, if you're grinding up a line, this is a great pick. You've got torpedoes on either side of you. A lot of people forget about the torpedoes on the other side. They dump the 1-2 and then they forget to turn and dump their other torpedoes. And if they remember, a lot of their opponents forget that there's a third wreck coming. So Big brain move. Oh, you could do that, I suppose, with the Udachi. Torpedo reload booster immediately, and then throw your 15-kilometer torps at a battleship. You could do that. Minsk is a fine boat if you want guns and guns only, because she only has 4-kilometer torpedoes. I don't think she's as good as the Vokbullen in this mode. Personally, I wouldn't really pick her, but if you are grinding up the line, hey, whatever. You do you. Moss. Moss got nerfed a little bit with this last patch. She does bring Hydro, which brings in some additional utility. Torpedoes are pretty rapid firing, and she's got 128mm guns. Not a bad pick, and she pens 1/4 HE. That's why I was bringing up those 128s. Jervis. Decent destroyer. It's got smoke. It's got Hydro. It's more of a personal range Hydro at 3 km, but it still works for her. I think Jervis is going to be a good pick for ranked. Gajamada is a fan favorite, always has been. She's great, but keep in mind she only has deep water torpedoes, which will only do cruisers and battleships. It will not hit destroyers. And then we've got our Skåne at Pan-European line. It's okay. She doesn't have smoke. She's got fast torpedoes. Her guns are okay. She does have a heal though, so she gets a little sustain. She's, yeah, like SAT says, she's a good tier 6, but that's about it. And Bliska. Okay ship. Not fantastic. Okay ship. Kind of a jack of all trades, master of none. We talked about her before when we were talking about the coal ships. So there you go. Guys, did I miss anything about the destroyers?
Hey Zath, just another little thing. I feel like it's going to be those gunships that really make a difference in this mode. Because if you bring the torpedo destroyer, torpedoes are very hit and miss from my experience. Guns, they just provide more reliable damage. Like, so if you take something like a Mayhem, which has Fletcher levels of damage per minute at tier 7,
Yep.
and you run into any, like, a torpedo destroyer, yeah, the torpedo destroyer is more likely to outspot you, but in turn, if they come straight at you, you can just, like, turn a little bit, and you just outgun them completely.
I do agree, especially in one-on-one destroyer duels, you definitely want to have the, you definitely want to have the good gun characteristics. Torpedoes are nice, but you can't depend on them, like you said. That's why I think Ak at it. I just hate that ship. But, you know, you have to decide, are you going to go all in with guns, with something like the Vokbullen? Are you going to go, as some people are mentioning in chat, for something like the Haida, or, you know, or Jervis, or Moss, with its Hydro for cap control? Those are possibilities, too.
Frankly speaking, I feel like the Haida is just going to be the straight-up best destroyer because, well, it's got... Yeah, it only has one rack of torpedoes, but those torpedoes do a lot of damage. You can easily one-shot, like, most cruisers and battleships with them. And the gunpowder, well, you have the best concealment of all tier 7 destroyers, 5.7 kilometers.
Yep.
But you can get most other destroyers before they even know you're there.
And that's why I said Haida is just the pick. Like, that's what you start with. You know what I mean? And then, of course, if you're grinding up a tech tree line, then you pick a tech tree ship instead. But, you know, if you want to just not think and whatever, you take the Haida.
Honestly, instead of a Haida, if you're going to go with the tech tree ship, I'd probably take Jervis or Mayhem straight up.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Mayhem's a good pick. And Jervis is a good pick, too. I think there's a lot of really good picks, honestly, at tier 7. I don't know why I'm not seeing all the other ones, but... Oh, that's why. I mean, if you're doing tech tree only, yeah, I definitely agree with you there. Alright. Well, guys, shall we move on to Stream Raiders and our next topic? Let's do it. Those of you guys in YouTube that are watching later, feel free to put down your pick, or actually, this video is probably going to come out... Well, I'll try to move it up. I'll try to bump it up in release, but put down what you guys think is going to work for you. It's always kind of fun to look at prediction and then see how it actually worked out at the end. All right, let's go to Stream Raiders then. We'll probably just do haste on it again.
You really like that haste, don't you?
Well, what else am I... Oh, I just moved it to the wrong spot. That's great. See what you did to me?
Oh, don't even blame me!
I was gonna move it away and talk about the other ones, and then I dropped the click. Oh well. I don't need haste. I've got all of you fine people. So let's go into the battle. We got 76 allies. I'm gonna do a 30-second ad. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I need more water. So I'm actually gonna run extended ad here so I can go downstairs and get some water. Stevie's downstairs too, so I'm probably gonna give him some foods. So I'm gonna run a 3-minute ad break, guys. If you want, turn down your volume a little bit because it might get a little loud. But here we go. 3 minutes, and let's see what happens with this battle.
And what kind of water will you be grabbing?
I think it's time for one of each.
Ah. Oh boy. Dead vacuum. Did you put flowers on it? Get a card for it, something? Dun, 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 dun. Yep, we killed it. Felipe got the most kills. Papa Smurf with the most assists, but of course in first place was me. Hmm. Damn. Hmm. Smasher says Grand Battles. Robert, 1977,
Robert
thank you for the follow. I don't know if they can hear me, but if they can.
Following.
Okay. So yeah, guys, he wants to know what you want to talk about, him to talk about next. Coal Commanders or the Grand Battles? And again, Robert, thank you so much for the follow. Zath will be back momentarily. He is feeding Stevie because Stevie, I mean, no other reason. Stevie's awesome. Guess you have one vote for Grand Battles and one for Commanders. Mm-hmm. He's like, must go on. must go on! Must clean, or Zath
Alright.
will sell me. And then he died trying to get the place clean so you wouldn't sell him. See?
Alright, Sith Kitten. Do you want the gold or the Berserker Scrolls?
I want the gold.
I figured you would say that.
200 gold, dude.
That's pretty sweet. Alright, I'm getting some things.
So, guys, if you want to win these contests when he's giving stuff away, I suggest you watch where I'm putting my pieces, because I am so strategic with Stream Raiders. I may suck at WoWs, but Stream Raiders, I am strategic as, yeah.
That's right, I wanted to put down a Buster. I need to put down one more Buster. Create the healer. What do I have to do besides Buster?
I
Okay.
have to put orcs down, orc slayers down.
Yeah. Alright. But yeah, Sith Kitten really does kill. Now, guys, we are very close to finishing our campaign, by the way. This battle is a very hard, but then we have a 5-star boss fight coming up. So, really good opportunity to get some good prizes there. Coming soon.tm.
And I promise I won't win that one. I promise.
Okay. So, Tasman Commanders, why spend coal when you can't get perks in clan battles? So unfair. And Potato Smash says that's so it's fair. Yeah, you're not wrong there, I suppose. Alright, let me try to reload this Paulo Emilio game. And then we'll talk about the commanders that you guys can get. And then we'll go into grand battles, okay? So, let me change to the Armory tab. Let me go back to our game.